So the library at the time was on Nevins and Union. It was just a windowless room next to an event space. It had, I'll say, 75% of the collection you see in the library right now. It was full of books, and at the time it was not open to the public except on one Saturday every Saturdays. And my first job was to be at the library and open it, and it was an interesting experience because people didn't expect to see a full-on Victorian curiosity cabinet in the middle of Gowanus. And then it grew. We've been doing events on the side of the library every week, twice a week, and then 3 times a week. We were inviting researchers to show their books or artists to show their work. We started to do a taxidermy workshop and kind of resurrect old art practices that were forgotten or just considered too kitsch, too actually bad taste. So we did taxidermy workshop, and then like little by little, the audience grew to become a weird family. The same people were coming to the events. We started to know each other, and people start to talk and say, hey, like, it's interesting, I'm doing research on this topic, and I said, oh, but you should do a lecture next month about this quirky Victorian thing that and it started this way. So the museum itself has several floors and several layers. Every room has a different function, and it has its own quirky life. The library is the library. That's what you see. It's a research library, but it's also a curiosity cabinet. So some people will just go in and look at things and pull on books or look at the spines and just enjoy the library for an hour or two as a visual experience. Some people will, like some researcher will actually come and work upstairs and come for a week every day from 12 to 6, pull on some books. We have 1,500 books. A lot of them are out of print or difficult to access. So like for certain topics that are kind of niche sometimes, like anatomical wax figures from the 18th century, we have entire bibliography. And some people come, that's what I did the first time. Some people actually travel from other countries to access the library database. And then there is a museum. So all the exhibition we do are curated around private collections. So we don't actually borrow from other museums. We ask several private collectors to just show objects. The idea is to show objects that are not seen by the main public. Because when a collector owns an historical piece, he will stay in his house, and unless you're part of his really intimate circle, you will not have access to it. So it means that there is a part of material culture that is hidden behind the closed door of collectors, and that's what we're trying to work around, just showing those objects and why people collect them. What does it mean? Why certain paths in history have been hidden, but on the other side resurrected in secret by collectors. That's an important part of what we do. Joanna was the key member. Like, she's the founder and she's the person with the vision. And then 2 years ago, Joanna met Tracy and Tanya early in a lecture she was doing on Santa Muerte. Basically, it's Saint Death, and it's a folk saint revered in Mexico as like the sacred personation of death. Joanna was doing a lecture somewhere in Brooklyn about Santa Muerte, and there were those two women she knew, Tracy and Tanya, who were fascinated and came to her. They told her, oh, we're going to Mexico, we're gonna look for Santa Muerte artifacts, and they, from this first conversation was born this friendship, and they started to talk about maybe taking the library somewhere else and expanding a little bit more the project and opening a museum. And that's what we did. It took us a good year, and last June we opened this place, and it's been an adventurous journey, but here we are.